Hi, this video is to give you a demonstration slash tutorial on how to use this web-based powder ladder test tool. Before I start, I'd like to acknowledge that the inspiration for this project comes from a Microsoft Excel-based tool created by the 6.5 guys. There is a link in the description of this video to that version of the tool on their website. I will also put a link to their YouTube video tutorial as well. I highly recommend watching that video as it sets the background for this tool and it talks about how a tool like this can be very helpful in your load development process. I had two reasons for creating this tool. First, it seemed like it would be a fun project. I also thought a web-based version of the tool would be very useful as it doesn't require me to have Microsoft Office installed and I can use it from my phone or my tablet, and I don't have to worry about macros and those sorts of things. With all that said, let's jump right into this tool. When you first visit this page at powderladder.reloadingrecipes.com, you'll see that I've populated the tool with some data from a recent range session. So let's look at that data. First, I have the information about the actual cartridge at the top. And then underneath, I have the individual powder charges that I've done tests for. And so for each charge, I fired 5 shots. So in this case, I had 42 grains of Hodgdon 4350, and then 42.2, and so on. And so as I scroll to the right, I can see all of my tests that I had run. Once I've entered those, I'll hit the update report, and I can see that a table is created with that information as well as the averages, the 1 plus and minus 1 standard deviations over, plus and minus 2 standard deviations, the ES, the SD, and then the increase in velocity for each jump in powder charge. Below that, I have my graph. This is very similar to the graph that's provided by the Excel spreadsheet in the tool from 6.5 guys. And then another chart very similar also to the chart in that tool, which shows me the graph plotting the velocities for the average as well as the +1, +2, -1, -2 standard deviations. To start with your data, the first thing you would probably do is clear the data from the tool. You might also need to change this. I'm sure you probably will, but maybe you're using a different bullet. So like Sierra MK 140. Let's leave everything else the same for now. We're going to go ahead and add a group, and I'm going just to make up some data here just for demonstration. But let's say 42 is going to give us roughly 2,700, and I'll just copy that down here. Now, of course, all of us would love to have 0 deviation, but I'm going to induce some because it's realistic. And after I've fired my first 5, or probably I would write all this down at the range and come back and enter this. I mean, I guess I could run it from the tablet as I'm there if I have an internet connection, but I usually do jumps in 2 grains, and that generally will give me, let's just give 30 feet per second more on this one. And we add some variation. Okay, so if I hit update report, you'll see that I have started to build out my chart. It's not very useful yet, but as I add more node or more powder charge information, I'll start. You'll notice that when the standard deviations are low, that these start to be color coded. So as we increase the standard deviation on a load, and I'm going to show that here, you'll notice that this went from green to white, white being it's not very good. The darker shade of green is going to be indicating that it is a decent load in terms of standard deviation. Okay, so now that I have this, I want to save this data. I can download this information, so I'll go ahead and hit download dataset file. And this allows me to go in and put entire information so I can load it up later. So we'll say 6.5 SMK 140 and go ahead and save that. Information here, it's mainly a tool for free use that you can use at your own convenience. The other option that I've created here is the option to print. And so when you print, we kind of strip out some of the UI elements so that it makes a nice printable sheet with the chart. And then the other thing you could do is if you install a PDF printer on your system, then you could just save the whole chart as a PDF file. Well, that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoy using this tool. Please feel free to leave feedback as it's helpful in developing this. Have a great day.